G'day punters, welcome back to another massive edition of All In. This time we are joined by none other than Lewis Willoughby from Sky Racing. Louis, how are you?
Yeah, I'm back. Season 2, are we? Very good. I could hardly wait, but I could wait one more week because I was very busy last Monday enjoying the fruits of a Darwin Cup day on my day off. But I'm back and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to find some winners. Massive spring, as we all know, really exciting. Racing starting to heat up. You see it through the trials. Dino talks about that. But you really start to see the good ones come back into work. So big things ahead for us this season.
Outstanding, mate. Good to have you back. And Dean Watling down south there from the Barrier Attendant. You're low flying, mate. Couple of dudes on the weekend, mate. You've been flying previously. Good to have you on.
Yeah, it's good to have you back, Louis. It's nice to have the three of us and all collared shirts on, so that can only mean one thing. We get down to business. Winners are to be found. But yes, I think it was a rude shock to everyone. A nice start to the spring. The bookies took us for everything, but the good thing is we've got 3 months to take it all back.
I'll tell you what, we'll get to the elephant in the room straight away. Dan and I on the punters panel on Friday, and the boys was at Marlo, Munzie, Dino, and myself. The boys all chimed in with their top 4 selection. I had Forbidden Love, looked at Treat in the Yard. Honestly, fair dinkum starts $3 in the run. You're thinking this thing's going great. Sorry, punters, I've let you down again. I reckon that's my 3rd missed top 4 in a row. It's about as good a layer as I am as a top 4 punter. Louis, you know the feeling.
Yes, I do.
It's a tough school out there. Anyone that wants to give it a go, please chime into the comments and give us your best top 4 play for the weekend. Righto. What do you reckon? $101 shot chiming in on the weekend. I've just tried to wipe the entire race from my mind. Louis, thoughts?
Yeah, I haven't actually seen a replay. I was listening to it in the car on the way to work, and from the call, it just sounded like all the fancies were out the back, and the old, obviously in hindsight, and the trainers come out, post-race and gone, it's going really well. We thought he'd run a big race. Yeah, all the things you'd say about 100-to-1 shot that wins to keep your owners happy. But look, to be honest, you kind of look at it and you go, it was fit. It's run. I think it ran in the Ramornie from memory, and that wasn't too bad. And so look again. You could never say that it was $1.90 on your ratings and the bookies had it 101. Of course, you would have marked it a big price, and things had to go wrong for the fancies, which obviously happened. And you get those sometimes. I know someone at work that was on, so it's not all doom and gloom. There were some really happy punters out there. So, pain for most, but joy for others.
Happy going, Dino. Just before we move on, I went back, obviously, just shaking my head going, how would we find that? But 7 or 8 runs ago, it actually had some peak runs at that sort of setup that weren't too bad. And I thought, that's what happens when you're lazy and you don't go back, look at 8 or 9 runs. Mate, could you see that coming? Fair dinkum.
I think every winner, when you go back and look, you can sort of probably find an excuse to why you could back it. I think the interesting thing is that's 2 years in a row that the Ramornie has produced the winner. We saw Fobadar come out of the Ramornie last year and win. And it's always interesting, these sort of first up big races in the spring. We often see some big price runners. I remember a Bjorn Baker trained Samadout did similar in some big races early in the spring. So it could be a big knock on those horses who had a deep autumn on the heavy tracks, coming up a touch tired. I thought Forbidden Love was probably disappointing. They set a hot speed, but you still could have expected a lot more from her. I thought even Counter Rupee was a touch plain. If you got Hard Empire, the winner, running on from that position, I would have expected Counter Rupee to run over the top of it in 9 times out of 10. So good start to the spring for the bookies, but we'll be back.
Oh, we'll be back. We'll be all over them like a cheap suit. Louis, over to you, mate.
Yeah, so I'll just chime in right of the week here if we're going to do a little weekend review. Did you have any horses to follow, Dino, just quickly off the back of that Saturday?
Yeah, sorry, 2. Similar to Gannon, I've wiped that Saturday meeting from my mind. I'll grab 2 from early in the week. We saw a super smart one at Geelong, What You Need for the Mick Price and Kent stable. It ran a faster time than both the benchmark 64s, best last 6 and last 4 of the meeting from the front. You don't really see that on debut. It's a genuine Guineas chance, been crunched into 16s. One at Randwick, I was super keen. Sports Legend, race 2, missed a kick by 6 and has charged home to run the best, second best last 6 and last 4. So those 2 horses going forward, Louis. And right of the week, hit us.
Very good, very good. We'll put them down in the black book. Right of the week, I've gotten a bit lazy. I've just given it to Jack Hill for his ride on Jolting last Monday on the Pakenham Synthetic. This has nothing to do with him, but I can't believe they bet us $14. Winning owner, thank you. I know you guys are holding back your applause, so just hold it longer. Yeah, Jack Hill got it back, swooped it out, Pakenham Synthetic from the back.
No tip.
So, no tip. Was just keeping all the price for myself. And unreal ride from Jack. Gee, there's far little better feelings than being a winning owner. I'll tell you that, and you boys know that as well as anyone. So that was a real good one last Monday. So even if I had tried to commit to do the podcast that night, I can tell you what, I was in no state to do it. Let's move on to our first all-in look of season number 2, and we're starting with the PB Lawrence Stakes coming up in Melbourne this Saturday. 1,400 metres the trip. It's Group 2. It's weight for age. The Tab have an all-in field, so we kind of had an idea of what horses were going there. Let's take a look at the market thanks to Tab. Mr. Brightside is the favourite at $3. I Am Superman and Scalapini at $6. Regal Power and Sinawan at $8. And then the double-figure runners, Elephant, Streets of Avalon, $11. Buffalo River and Forgot You, head them up $15 and longer. The rest, and I'm going to come to you, Dino, first for your thoughts here to the PB Lawrence.
Yeah, we spoke off air, Louis. It's a tricky race. It's a couple of horses here that you probably don't want to be on first up. They've got bigger assignments, and then you may be looking for the less credential horses with fitness advantage. It's probably not a race I want to dive into early. I think Mr. Brightside's the horse that you want to be backing. $3 all-ins, no spoil, but he was very good first up, last preparation, ran a solid third, beating home Elephant, charging down the outside at Flemington. This looks a good race. Trials and jump outs at Flemington have been good, and the Hayes camp are in outstanding form. They've picked up some Melbourne Cup credentials in the last couple of weeks, which we'll touch on later. But for mine, boys, Mr. Brightside, but we'll wait for the price.
Yep, beauty. I'm very similar to you, is that I couldn't really get involved in this race early as like giving a massive push for one. I'm going to put Scalapini on top at $6. It was really good. I thought in that Group 3 Bletchingley, second to King of Sparta last start, big gap to third. It was on speed and the tempo was pretty solid. I think they were just under a length quicker than class benchmark to the 6. Still came home inside class average for the last 4 and the 2. That's Scalapini. I think 1,400 metres back up to that, yes. It's going to have that fitness edge over the others. I can see that, horses like Mr. Brightside and Sinawan and whatever, they have very good first up records and they will be running well fresh. But I just thought this horse isn't here to make up the numbers down from Queensland. It's rock hard fit. That form, I think, is okay. And the stable, as I mentioned, they're not only here to make up the numbers. They came to Melbourne with spring targets for this horse. And something like a stealing a PB Lawrence at Group 2 level is right up in this narrative that I can see this horse having. So Scalapini on top for me. Again, $6. I probably wanted more than that for this kind of play. But yeah, I just can't dive into anything better than that at a price. And yeah, we'll wait and see. But Scalapini, Gannon?
Best chance you'll get the more than your $6, and just acquire these Queenslanders. They're just popping up out of everywhere, the Origin. Now they've picked up a Group 2 race in Sydney. They'll probably head over down to Mexico and pick up another Group 2 race. I'll tell you what, boys, I'll leave it to you because fair income, I could throw a dart and still miss the winner there. Missed the board completely. But you guys are all over it. Thank you. Now, Dino, rumour has it you have a couple of all-in plays for the punters over at Sydney. I might even chime in here. Talk us through it, Dino.
Yeah, Gannon. It's a gun race, the Rosebud. I love these 2-year-olds, fresh 3-year-olds. It's the most exciting year for myself. Trial pervs are definitely out in force at the moment. We'll touch on the Rosebud. Best of Bordeaux, thanks to Tab Odds, is currently $2.80 favourite. I think that's short. I want to take on the autumn 2-year-old form. I don't think it was the peak. I think we can see a few horses jump out of the ground this time in, and those horses I want to highlight are Zorcarino, who comes out of a midweek Kensington win. It was a super win on debut, off some lackluster trials, in the right stable, got the right owner, breeding is super. The form out of that race has been great, and it's trialled since against Kaboo. Kabir was flat to the board while this horse just sat there on the bridle. Once it went past the post, he put 5-6 lengths on the field. Very impressive horse, 1,100 metres. There looks a lot of speed, so he can camp in behind him. And the one I want to mention at massive odds is Spacewalk. I think this horse has come back brilliantly. Godolphin do these early 2-year-old, 3-year-old setup races perfectly. Has the similar profile to Plealy, comes through kindergarten, but the latest trial, it's had 3 trials too. The latest trial against some older horses was brilliant. So I think Zorcarini around 15s and Spacewalks around 26. I think we can back both those for a big result. Gunnar, I know you like this race. Chime in.
I thought the setup, Best of Bordeaux, probably relish the setup. I think the rail's out 7 metres, and I think we're going to get a drying track over 1100 at Rosehill. So whilst there'll be plenty of speed, you still got to catch them. $2.80. Look, I don't necessarily think you want to be putting everything on, but I think it's worth a bet now because I've got a feeling it could start a lot closer to $2 and $2.80, just purely off that setup at Rosehill. If it draws a gate, 1 to 7. Good luck catching.
And J-Mac on now too. I think Coolmore invested obviously in the horse.
Yeah.
So you'll see J-Mac. So you probably pay the tax come race day, which is probably a good point.
Exactly right.
I think a key thing, if you want to look at your setup, Dino, is that I think the market will gravitate towards those returning good 2-year-olds into 3-year-olds that have exposed form compared to your ones down the board that are coming from the midweek. So if you're confident in those and anyone else out there as well, I think you will be getting good prices for those unexposed early 3-year-olds that didn't have a bright lights 2-year-old campaign.
Just on that, Louis, too, Charlatan was a horse that I don't think it's going to be winning on Saturday. It's $15. I know it probably comes on and wins, but it's a horse I want to follow. Yeah, you know what happens here, right? Wins be 3. But it's a horse I want to follow through the spring. I think it's got a bright future. Was ducking and weaving the wetter tracks, but good, strong-looking horse. And I reckon for mine, putting my Dean Watling hat on here, I reckon that's a horse to follow. Now, boys, before we wrap up the show, it's been a bit of a cracker here. Covered a few things. Going to go with the best all-in play for the weekend, and then I've got something for the punters after that. Louis, what do you got?
Oh, I struggled just because I would say Scalapini because that's what I've tipped in the PB Lawrence, but it's not, you know, there's no cracking odds available here. I haven't really gone through yet the Rosebud and the Quizett and the Vein and whatever. So, look, I'll say Scalapini, but with very little confidence this week.
Louis, Scalapini with little conviction. Dino?
Yeah, race we didn't touch on, the Quizett, a horse for the Peter and Paul Snowden camp. Ed Bahar was a very promising 2-year-old, had a little setback, put away and missed all those heavy tracks, which I like. Has trialled like an absolute rocket in Sydney, 1 from 1 at Caulfield. Around that $4.50 price, I think it is an amazing bet, all in Gannon. There's one in the race to save on, Waltz on by for the Moody camp, but I'm very keen, Ed Bahar and the Quizett, Gannon.
Beautiful. There you go, punters. For mine, Best of Bordeaux, $2.80. I think draws a gate and probably start closer to $2 at that setup. The 1100 with the rail out 7 metres for mine. Jump, lead, win. Righto, boys, to finish the show off. We've got a bit of a group chat going. Not just the 3 of us. Obviously, every man in the dog has their own group chat. But quite often you come across, and you remember the sports bet ad, they talk about the curse. That little mate up there from Sky Racing. It's going back a few weeks now. On the group chat, Broncos down 12-0. Broncos gone, Cast can't win. Can't recall who they were playing, Dino or no. I think they ended up winning 40-12. Was that right, Louis?
Yeah, look, for comedic value, I'll go along with it and say that I was being genuine. On the other hand, I'll go along and say that I put that in there to try and get a little reaction of my other mate down here on the bottom corner, Dean Watling. Or maybe Dino was trying to help you and reverse mock them to win. So I'll let you guys make up your mind about that.
Reverse the curse. Now, I'll tell you what, it doesn't stop there. I'm not just going to give Louis a spray. And punters, if you do have a mate that is an absolute curse, tell us a story. Dino might even send you a sloppy Joe for the best story. What do you reckon, Dino? Now, here's one. Actually, Louis, do you want to tell the coffee story or should I?
No, you go.
Righto. So Louis sent us a tip and I've looked at it and I've gone, oh, Harry Coffee. Oh, God.
Aye.
All right, here we go. Harry Coffee. Yeah. Doesn't look like he's going that good. I look, it's going good. Anyway, Harry, he's gone win. And then he's come out and he's fair dinkum ridden 10 of the next 15.
He hasn't stopped winning since.
So, Harry, wherever you are, never met you. You probably think I'm a prick of a bloke for potting you, but I think you owe me a beer because I've got you back on a good run. You're flying. Well done to you. like the percentage there's something. Righto, boys, that's good fun, good laughs. Louis, thank you for joining us, finally turning up. Dino, as always, thank you for all your insight, helping the punters finding a winner. Until next week, lads.
Bye-bye.
Catch ya.